Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today it's time to introduce to you the round 4 competitors of Battle of the Booktubers. If you haven't joined us thus far, I will post all of the playlists for round 1, round 2, and round 3 in the description below so you guys can catch up on that content and figure out what this competition's all about. I will also link the announcement video for round 1, which has a lot more information in it than I'm going to give you in this, but I will give you a general synopsis here. The Battle of the Booktubers is a competition between 16 booktubers where I take 4 of them at a time. So there are 4 different rounds. This is the last round of the first season of Battle of the Booktubers. And these booktubers have to give each other recommendations. Based on their recommendations and what ratings those recommendations receive, they get points. Whoever has the most points in the end wins. They also give me recommendations, and so I drop some points every once in a while within the competition, and then we have a big live show at the end to announce the points to you all and who the victor will be. There will be a championship round with the 4 victors from the first 4 rounds, but that won't happen for a while now. Throughout this month, you guys will have the competitor vlogs coming out on Tuesdays and the sneak peeks where I give you guys a little bit of a peek behind the curtain will happen on Mondays, and then we will have our live show on November 2nd. I will put all of the information that you need for the competition and the playlists and the links, everything that you need in the description down below. But without further ado, I want to introduce to you guys this round's competitors. Let's see who's first.
Hi friends, I'm Jess. My channel is the Hex Library, which is where we are currently sitting in the Hex Library. And in true to me fashion, I already recorded this once, except I didn't actually record it. I was on just picture and took a picture. Yeah, it's going great so far. I also have a cat though, so like, does that make up for it? This is Merlin. You will find lots of Merlin on my channel. She has a sister named Raja, who occasionally you will also find on my channel. And like, who doesn't want kitty cats? There's also a Flash. You can see his little ears right here. Yeah, Nugget, what you doing? You say hi? Okay, lay down, be good. Thank you. Did I put animals in this video just for extra good luck and to make you people cheer me on? Maybe. I read predominantly fantasy or paranormal. I read a lot of witches, ghosts, vampires, werewolves, all of that kind of thing. But I also love just regular high fantasy stories. I read adult, mid-grade, YA. I specialize in mid-grade spooky. It is my fave. I also read horror, thriller, mystery. I read romance. I don't dabble much in dark romance, and I like historical fiction, but try to stay out of anything around like World War I, World War II era. I read a little bit of everything. I don't read a bunch of classics, but yeah, pretty much a little bit of everything all over the place. On my channel, you can expect to find Merlin, Flash, all of the rest of the mammals. I live on a farm. We have chickens and pigs and a goat and horses and rabbits and a parrot, cats, dogs. I think that's it right now. And occasionally they will pop up in my videos whenever I do a vlog, which I don't do a lot of because I'm really bad at those, but I do try. I do normal sit-down videos like this. I talk about reading. I still occasionally talk about writing on my channel, but not very much. I haven't been doing any writing for about a year. But I do still keep in contact with my writing friends and do occasionally do writing style videos. I do bullet journaling videos. I talk about planner stuff a lot on my channel. I'm a little all over the place, but that's why we're a library, because libraries cover everything. I also have some readathons. I have the Summer Scare readathon, which usually happens in the summer. I have TBR Takedownathon, which happens in the spring-ish, or at least it did this year. Will it continue on to next year? Who knows? Not me. I should know because I'm the one who runs it, but that's a whole other thing for a whole other nickel.
Jess, I love the variety, and I also really like the tie-in with the library. I hadn't thought of that before. And we all know that animals have my heart, so any animal footage is very much appreciated. Let's see who's next. Hi,
Hi, my name is Sam. Nice to meet you. I come from the booktube channel Samantha Donovan, and primarily on my channel I focus on reading fantasy, horror, fantasy horror, best genre blend there is, and lately it's been a lot of romantasy.
I agree, Sam, that fantasy horror is such a fantastic genre, so you might see me stalking some of your videos to find some recommendations, because it's definitely a genre blend that I've enjoyed. Who's our third competitor?
Hello readers, I'm Krista. My channel is Books and Jams, and I'm so unbelievably excited to participate in Battle of the Booktubers Round 4. Thank you so much, Danny, for inviting me to be a part of your incredible series that you have put out this year. It's been so much fun to watch, and now I get to be a part of it, and I'm so excited. I do read pretty eclectically, but I would say that my favorite genres are historical fiction and middle grade, even though middle grade is not technically a genre, it's a category, but I do read a ton of middle grade. I have a goal to read all the Newbery winners in my lifetime, so that's something that will pop up here and there on my channel. I do reading sprints live every other weekend, and then on the off weekends I do a reading vlog where I just kind of take you around what I'm up to for the weekend. I have also been doing a series where I go through my shelves and organize and clean out and unhaul and get them cleaned up. So that's been going on over the past little while. So you'll see a lot of very chatty, kind of sit down with a friend and chat books types of videos on my channel.
I gotta love a sit down chatty video about books, Krista. It's one of my favorite things to make, and it's one of my favorite things to watch. So I'm right there with you. And last but not least is...
Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. I've had my booktube channel since 2020. I started it because I needed something to occupy my time during the pandemic, and I love to read, so it seemed like a good fit. And I like to read diverse books, and I highlight Canadian literature. I do a Reading Across Canada challenge, and I also recently did a project where we had people vote on the best Canadian books of the 21st century. That was tons of fun, and it has inspired a lot of conversation around Canadian literature and Canadian authors, so I'm really happy about that. For the most part, the genres that I read are literary fiction, historical fiction, memoirs, and some other nonfiction. Genres that are a little more outside of my comfort zone are fantasy and sci-fi. They're not off the table, but they are definitely not the genres that I gravitate towards. But I do watch several booktubers who do like fantasy and sci-fi, Danni.Dabbles being one of them. So I was delighted when Danni asked me to be part of the Battle of the Booktubers. This has been so much fun, and I'm really excited about it because I love booktube events that bring people together, that create community, and then of course any excuse to talk about books and reading is really good with me. And Danni has put so much work into this, and it really shows. So for my round, I'm in round 4 along with my competitors. Sam from her channel Samantha Donovan. Her channel is newer to me, so I'm really glad that I have found her through this battle. Our battle also has Krista from Books and Jams, who I have been subscribed to for a while, and I'm a bit more familiar with her channel. And then there's Jess from the Hext Library, who is also newer to me. So this is already a win, since I've been introduced to, amazing booktubers that I wouldn't have maybe necessarily known otherwise.
I'm glad that I could bring some new booktubers into your life, Jolene. That is one of my absolutely favorite things about this competition, has been the community surrounding it and the Discord, having you guys meet each other and then stay in contact after the competition. I have absolutely loved seeing the friendships form. One of the things I always ask our competitors to talk about is their strategy for the competition. Did they have one? Did they not? Let's hear from Sam first.
As for my strategy for this competition, I don't like recommending books to people, if we're being honest, which is maybe not the right competition for someone like me to go into, where it's all about recommending books, recommending the best books to the right people.
I just get so nervous recommending a book to somebody and them experiencing a bad time because of me that I don't like recommending books. But at the same time, as a booktube channel, all I ever am doing is recommending books. So my strategy going into this competition was getting to know my fellow competitors and what their reading tastes were like. Jess and I have pretty similar reading tastes. We both read a lot of the same books, fantasy and mysteries and thrillers and such, but still differ enough that like I had to make some guesses and, you know, gamble a little bit on my options. Whereas Krista and Jolene, we don't read the same at all, and so recommending books to them were definitely trickier than I would normally find. But I like to think, to toot my own horn here, I love to think that I'm pretty on top of like book trends and knowing what's popular and like what the masses think of books and like overall Goodread ratings and so on and so forth, that I feel like I made good decisions with my picks. Even though I was a little nervous that other people might recommend the same books, I just had to go for it and risk the chance of losing points, those sweet points that I don't want to lose, because I am competitive and I do want to win. So I just, you know, scoured the interwebs. I watched their videos, I got to know their reading taste, I was on their Goodreads like a mad woman. And I think it helped a lot. It's always fun when like you go to recommend a book, you check the Goodreads, and they gave it a high rating, and you're like, okay, I'm going the right direction, even if I can't use that book. So that was kind of my strategy going in.
Oh, that moment that you find a book recommendation and you're like, yes, this will work perfectly, and you go into their Goodreads and they've already read it. You're correct though, as long as you know that you're on the right track, that they did enjoy that book, it makes you feel a little bit good, but it's kind of bittersweet. Let's see about Jess's strategy.
Let's talk strategy. What was my strategy? Here's the thing. I love to help people find new books that they love. Like, that's the whole point of this channel. Like, that's the whole point of me having a channel. Talk about the books that I love, force feed them to other people. And luckily, Danni has given me the perfect opportunity to do that, where people have to read the books I tell them to read. They can't be like, well, I don't want to, or they don't have time. They just have to read them. So hopefully, I'm actually good at the thing that I love to do, and I can force feed books to people. I'm actually pretty excited about the opportunity to do that. Thank you, Danni. How did I make my recommendations? I went through the videos that were offered to me, the information that was offered to me from the other competitors, and I went through Goodreads and compared books that I like and books that they like. Books that were on our similar lists. And so I would find things that we both liked, and then would be like, okay, so I wonder if they also liked this book. And a lot of times the book that I was like, they would love this book, and I would find it and they had already read it and already rated it 5 stars. So I was like, okay, you're working good here. You just got to work harder at figuring out the books to read. And I think I did a really good job of that. I almost completely recommended books that I have read before. There's only one book I recommended that I haven't read, and it was a book that I DNF'd. However, upon knowing what the book is about, knowing someone else who loves the book and why they love it, and knowing the person that I recommended it to's taste, I think they'll enjoy it. So, hoping for the best with that.
Well, Jess, I'm glad that I could provide you the opportunity to force feed books to booktubers. I think that's absolutely fantastic, and I hope it works out for you. What about Jolene?
Now, I've been asked to talk about strategy, and my initial thought was, we were supposed to have strategy? Oops. I mean, I love shows that have strategy. Some of my favorites are, Survivor. I mean, it's the best. And I've also recently liked The Traitors. So I really should have thought through this whole strategy thing a bit more. But since I didn't, I've decided that my strategy is to not overthink this. So here's what happened, for real. I watched a couple of videos from each of my competitors. And while I watched those videos, I made some notes, jotted down some potential book recommendations that kind of came from my head that I thought these would be pretty good. Thought I was good to go. But then I checked their Goodreads, And for the most part, they had already read the books that I had jotted down. So that threw that strategy out the window. My strategy, if we want to call it that at this point, then became the task of going through Goodreads, and I wanted to recommend books that I had read and enjoyed, because at least I then knew what I was dealing with. So I chose books on their TBR that I really hope they will like, because I liked them mostly, I think. There may have been one or two exceptions to that rule, but at least I think that the booktubers I recommended the book to will enjoy it, even if I didn't. So that was my master plan. It was really no plan at all. I flew by the seat of my pants. I didn't overthink it, and we will just have to see how this goes.
We will see how it goes, Jolene. I think it's funny that at least 3 of the competitors have been looking for books that they want to recommend and find out that the other competitors have already read them. So I think that you guys are maybe on track. We'll see if Krista has the same thoughts.
I had a lot of fun when it came time to start thinking about what books I was going to recommend for the other 3 readers in my round. So we have Jolene from Bookworm Adventure Girl, Jess from the Hex Library, and Sam from Samantha Donovan. And I was a little nervous at first when I was first reading through their bios. Sam and Jess both have fantasy as their most read genre, and then paranormal or horror as their second. And I'm like, oh man, am I going to have anything to offer these women as a recommendation? I don't know. But then it was really fun to dive into all of their videos and take a look a little bit deeper into the things that they're reading and find out that there was some overlap in our tastes. And so don't worry, I feel like I came through clutch for each of these women. The one that I feel like probably had on first glance the most similar reading taste to me is Jolene from the Bookworm Adventure Girl, and she's somebody that I already was following. I am following all of them now, but at first I was only following Jolene, so I had a little bit more of a knowledge about her tastes and her reading. So I feel like at first glance that was going to be the easiest one for me to recommend books for, but as I was thinking of books, oh, she's already read that. Oh, she's already read that. So it was a little bit more difficult when it came right down to it. But as far as strategy, I simply watched a lot of videos from each of these 3 women. I watched some of their favorites from the past couple of years, some tropes that they like in books, some buzzwords that they like in books, and then I also spent a lot of time on Goodreads. Thankfully, each of these 3 use Goodreads pretty consistently, it seems like, and had some folders and ways that they sort books that I could look through, that I could get even more of an idea about their reading. And especially I looked at their want to read list. As I was watching videos, I would write down ideas that came to mind about books that might be a good fit. And then I would compare that to their Goodreads, first of all, to make sure that they hadn't read it already, but then also to see if it was on their want to read list, because then I feel like I have a higher chance of getting a good grade from them, a good score from them, if it's something that was already on their radar as something they wanted to read. So I checked that as well. But yeah, I feel like I ended up with a pretty good selection of recommendations for each of these girls.
It sounds like you did your research, Krista. We'll see if it pays off for you. And that means that there are 4 out of 4 booktubers in this round that found books when they went on Goodreads for their competitors' Goodreads. They figured out that they'd already read them. So I don't know. I feel like you guys are pretty well in tuned with maybe what each other will like to read. So this should be an interesting round. The last thing that I ask competitors is to speak about their competition, speak about why they think they're going to win, who their biggest competitor will be, and just their overall feelings about how they're going to do. So let's see what they have to say.
The biggest competitor in this round is probably everybody else. They are probably thinking this through a little more logically, and they all have their strengths. Like, I think Sam is young and hip and knows what's cool, so she's already miles ahead of me there. Jess is a writer too, and writers think differently than us plain old readers, so she has that going for her. And Krista and I think our reading tastes are the most alike, so that could be really good or not. Really, it doesn't matter, because clearly I'm going to win. And why do I say that? Well, I'm Canadian, so the others already think that I'm nice and polite, and I'll say sorry a lot. But then I've also used this strategy of pretending that I don't have a strategy, so that in the end, after being so nice about everything, they just won't know, and they won't see what's coming, and they won't know what happened. So let's see how this battle goes.
Very ominous, Jolene. You're coming in with fake out. We'll see if you can blindside your competition. Let's see what Jess has to say.
Who do I think is my biggest competitor? My biggest competitor is probably Sam, based off of the fact that I think I'm good at this. This is a wild way to go. And we have very similar reading tastes. So if I'm good at it, then theoretically she should also be good at it. But am I actually good at this? We don't know yet. We won't know until the end of this. I could be terrible. Merlin and I could have recommended the worst books ever. But we're going to hope that that's not what happened. We're going to hope that we recommended a good book and that we're great at this. But yes, based off of that, I believe that Sam will be my biggest competitor. However, if we look at Krista and Jolene, they both also read widely. Like, no one is pigeonholed into like a specific genre of books that they read. So theoretically, anybody could be good at this. And I guess I'll find out when you guys do. And the final question from our overseer and overlord Danny is, why do I think I'm going to win? A, I'm awesome. B, I have the power of Merlin. C, does anybody else have a power of Merlin? Probably not. D, why am I numbering but also lettering? E, because I said so. Also because, I mean, like I said, I think I'm good at this. I've been doing this for a while. I like to recommend books to people. I'm well read, I'm well versed, I know lots of different genres, so theoretically I should be able to pick out things from genres that people are going to like. And I spent a solid 6 hours doing research on my competitors to like find the best books. That's been a lot of time. I might have went a little obsessive, honestly, trying to pick out like the perfect books, and it was a solid 6 hours. It may have been more, but it was at least 6 hours. Digging through their videos and their Goodreads and just their whole world. They don't know if I stalked them. They don't know. You don't know. No one will ever know. Anywho, that's me. Thanks for hanging out in the library.
Well, I hope the power of Merlin comes in clutch for you. And for legal reasons, I have to state that this competition does not condone stalking. Let's hear from Krista next.
I'm gonna win this round. Let me just put that out there. Because I also read so widely and had a little bit of overlap with each of these women in books that we have read and enjoyed or didn't enjoy, I feel like I was able to get a good grasp on what would be books that would really work for each of these three women. And I think I nailed it. I think I nailed it, guys. I am so excited for them to read the books that I picked and to see if I was right. I'm pretty sure I was right. As I discovered a little more about each of their reading tastes, I do feel like Sam might be a dark horse. She might be my biggest competition. Her favorite two genres that she put are fantasy and horror. And I don't read horror really at all. But her second two are historical fiction and romance, which I do read a lot. And Sam reads a lot of middle grade. So I have a feeling Sam might end up being my biggest competition in this one, but I'm coming for you, Sam. I'm coming for you. I'm so excited to get recommendations and get started with reading and to find out where I'm going to land as far as recommendations. I'm in it. I'm so excited for a competition. I'm a little bit too competitive for my own good, I think sometimes, but I'm here for it. Thank you so much, Danny, for putting this all together, and I can't wait to continue with round 4 and see how it all goes. Happy reading.
All right. I love the confidence and the competitive spirit. It's always fun. And I am really excited to see the end of this round. Speaking of the end, last but not least, let's hear from Sam.
I think for the overall competition, it's so hard because like I said, we have different reading tastes. So I don't know. The competition could really sway in any which way. But I think my biggest competitor would be Jess because we have more similar reading tastes. Jess has read a lot. I could see her crushing me and I don't want to be crushed, you know? there's a chance, there's an opportunity. But at the end of the day, it is all for fun, and I'm excited to be a part of this competition and to see everybody's vlogs and what they think of their picks. I'm just nervous, but it'll be fun. So thanks. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
I'm excited to see what everyone thinks of their picks as well. I do hope that no one gets crushed, but we will see. It is a competition. So with that, we have the 4 competitors for round 4 Battle of the Booktubers. If you guys have not subscribed to any of these lovely people, I will tag their channels in the description down below. Please go and subscribe and click notify so you get notifications about their vlogs coming out for the competition. Remember, we will have the first sneak peek coming up on Monday of next week. The first vlogs will come out on Tuesday. And then of course, at the end of the month, I guess early next month, November 2nd, is the live show where we will figure out who the last person to win Battle of the Booktubers will be. Who is our last champion? If you have any predictions, I have a poll up on my community tab right now where you can vote on who you think is going to be the winner of round 4. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.